Hello and welcome to or welcome back to Live Laugh Lily Kincade with your host Lily Kincade. Obviously, hi you guys. I love this. I'm sitting on the floor as usual. I'm still in California, so I'm still here. But today I'm coming to you from my cozy little sweats. If you're watching the video version and not just listening to the audio, you'll see my keyboard and my disco ball. I'm sitting on the floor, even though I have a couch I could sit on. I just love sitting on the floor. I don't know why. I think maybe it makes me feel like a kid. Like just sitting on the floor, like there's nothing better than after a long day coming home and laying on the floor in your bedroom, right? Anyways, I have this really cool eyeliner stamp that I was just like testing out, and it's a flower and it's really cute, and I just wanted to show it off to you guys because it's really cool and it's kind of fun. It looks like a tattoo at first, but no, it's just eyeliner. Anyways, happy Monday. Happy first of the month. It's the first of the month. I have that audio stuck in my head from TikTok, but you guys, how did we made it. We made it. We're fourth month of the year. We're 1/4 of the way in. That's kind of scary to think about. If I'm being honest, that's really scary to think about, right? That's wild. That is wild. Today's April 1st. So what a journey. How was your guys' March? Feel free to pause this and speak out loud like you're talking to me. My March was pretty good. It was a lot of growth. You know, right now I believe I'm not totally, I don't know exactly what's happening with the planets, but I'm told right now there's like an eclipse and Mercury's in retrograde, and I'm like, you know what? I feel it. But all that matters is that we are persisting. We are working through, and today's kind of little topic and tidbit of advice is going to be something that I need to like remind myself of, and also I want to remind you guys, because it's always like I know this, obviously, like I've been telling my friends this rule and I've been telling myself this rule for a long time, but sometimes, you know, life just gets eclipsy, life gets a little crazy, and you feel a little tired, you feel like you just, I don't know. I feel like March is a middle month. Do you guys know what I mean? Like January, it's super fun because it's like, oh my God, new year. Everyone's like new resolutions. Like it's exciting. February, it's not exciting to some people, but it's my birthday. So like I like it because it's my birthday. And like a lot of people, my friends' birthdays, like February is just a lot of birthdays. And then March is kind of good, but then it gets like, oh, like now I feel like I'm just waiting for summer. And I just kind of feel like I'm in a middle month. And, you know, sometimes it's been hard to motivate myself. You know, we keep it raw and, no pun intended, real. If you're like, wait, why? That's not funny. One of my favorite songs that I've written / one of the best songs of all time is my song. It's called Real. Real by Lily Kincade. Go stream it everywhere. And I love it so much. So that's why I always say like real, because stream real, you know? But like sometimes, not gonna lie, it's been hard to sometimes keep myself motivated. You know, especially in the middle parts of things. It's like when you start a goal, when you're like, oh my God, I want to get straight A's. When you start taking the class, it's really exciting. But it's like the middle part where you just have to push through, and it can be like really difficult. Like it can be difficult. And I think that's okay for it to be difficult. And I think it's good to talk about it because we're not alone in the difficulties, if that makes sense, you know? Like having a goal and working towards it, it's good. It's like if you were training to run a marathon. The beginning is so fun. The first couple months, you're like, oh my God, I got this. I'm so excited. My tennis shoes are brand new. This is awesome. But then it's like the middle months where you're like, oh my God, how am I going to make it to the finish line? How am I going to keep going? Like, this seems crazy. Why did I do this? And most people give up in the middle. Most people are like, you know what? It's fine. Whatever. But if we can persist through that middle and find little tools to like make it easier, not necessarily easier, but like make it easier to continue on our path, I feel like that is what happened. Like that's how you win, you know, whether that be like, instead of like having to motivate myself to run, I'm going to make a schedule and treat it like a habit where I don't get to pick. It just happens for me, you know? So this rule is something I don't exactly know where I originally heard this rule, but I've been telling my friends this forever. And I told my family, I've told my mom, my dad, my friends, everybody, the 2-minute rule. So I think I heard about, and there's 2 like parts to the 2-minute rule. But I think it's from like the first kind of part about it is I'm pretty sure it's in the book Atomic Habits as well, but I feel like people look at it 2 ways. So there's one way, I'm gonna go over both of them because they both kind of help, but there's one where it's like breaking down your big task into something that you can do in 2 minutes, which is basically like taking a big goal, and it kind of helps you reframe it to break it down into a really small little action that you can take. And then the other way is looking at it as like anything that takes 2 minutes, do it now. So I'm kind of going to tie them together and create my own like 2-minute kind of reframing rule. But we have to start off with a quote. Not sure how long this is going to be. We're kind of ranting right now, but ready. You guys, I can't believe it's April 1st. I cannot believe it's April 1st. I'm just, what in the world? Where has the time gone? I screenshotted so many quotes, you guys. I hope you like these. There's a lot. Okay. There's a couple talking specifically about like 2 minutes, and then there's a couple that are, I just couldn't pick one. You guys. I really couldn't pick one. The first one is by a guy, David Allen, who has a bunch to say about the 2-minute rule that I'm going to talk about later, but I want to read you these quotes by him first. One is, much of the stress that people feel doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from not finishing what they've started. That's true. Think about it. It's never like being like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. It's all the like, oh my God, I did this and I didn't finish it. It's so true. I'm in the process of cleaning out my closet and kind of just organizing everything, and it's stressing me out so much. Why? Why is it stressing me out so much? It shouldn't. I need to finish it, and I'm going to. It's on my to-do list. I'm finishing it. By tonight, it's going to be done. Okay, the next quote I have is also by David Allen, and it is, anything you can do in less than 2 minutes, if you need to do it at all, do it right then, which is something I'm going to talk about. That's kind of the first version of it. Then I have a couple quotes about, when you're in the middle of the storm, finishing the task and how it can help you. Okay. This one's by Benjamin Franklin. You may delay, but time will not. The next one is by Janet Daly. Someday is not a day of the week. The next one is by Abraham Lincoln. By Abe. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. That is true. You can't outrun what you need to do, And then I have a couple about like procrastination that are going to kind of like motivate you. At least they motivated me. So I'm just having faith that they're going to motivate you. And sometimes, it really sounds silly, but sometimes my day will turn 180 around by just seeing a quote or by just seeing a Bible verse or by just seeing like a meme. It's crazy how sometimes we just need a little something to snap out of it. And so one of these things was going to help you. Okay, the next one is, one of the best escapes from the prison of procrastination is to take even the smallest step towards your goal. And this is by Dennis Waitley. Not sure how to pronounce that. I think that's right. And then there's one more, and it is by Brene Brown, which I love because I was going to talk. This is kind of like tying together both of the 2-minute rules to make the ultimate 2-minute rule. And I love Brene Brown. If you guys have never read any of her books, I challenge you to read them. She also has a bunch of videos too on YouTube, but I love this quote, and it says, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. So yeah. So right now in the middle season, I feel like it's important to show up and to stick through it. Right now, if you're in the middle season or just kind of feeling like, it kind of is. It's like you're, in between finishing school, getting ready for summer, in between goals. Like right now, it's important to show up because a lot of people don't show up. Maybe now is not the time that you are going to be breaking records. Maybe now is not the time you're going to be running your fastest, but you're going to be running. You get the metaphor? And showing up is important. And this rule helps me show up. Okay, let's get into it. We kind of got into it, but let's get into it. The 2-minute rule. The first part of the 2-minute rule is literally any task that can be done. If it takes 2 minutes or less, you need to do it right now. I myself have been avoiding this. Everything I talk about is because I need to hear it, and also it's what I'm going through. I used to be so good with this. And you know what? We don't need to talk about the past. We are in the present. And what I love about the 2-minute rule is it takes away the decision making and takes it off of you to decide. So then you don't feel bad like if you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. No. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it right now. So for example, and it's kind of more easy for like little things, but for example, like say I have one dish, like I just made dinner, or I have one dish. It takes me less than 2 minutes to wash that one dish and put it away, so that I'm like, okay, I don't have a choice, I have to do it right now. Or for example, like when I come home, I'm like, I could just throw my coat on the chair, I could put my purse somewhere, but I'm like, it would take me less than 2 minutes to walk upstairs and put it in my closet in my bedroom, so I'm gonna do it right now. And it sounds silly because you're like, well, how is that really gonna help? Like, it's just 2 minutes, like that can't really be doing much, can it? But think about it. How many little things, little tasks do we do all day that are very easy and very small, but we're like, we'll do it later, and then they compound. And when they compound, that's when suddenly everything gets overwhelming and everything gets like, I don't want to put it away at all. And then you have that pile in your room filled with clothes and filled with things. You get that? So if it takes less than 2 minutes, Do it right then. I do this with text messages as well. I need to get better at it, but if I see a text and I'm like, oh, I can answer this in 2 minutes, I do it right away. Same with like, with anything with music or anything writing, or like, oh, I can answer this in 2 minutes, I'll put it away. If it's something that requires more attention, then I schedule it in my calendar, if that makes sense. So like, it also helps you, like, understanding the 2-minute rule. It also helps you differentiate between like the things you need to put in your calendar and the things that you can just do. Because oftentimes I used to have a to-do list that was so long, and I was like wasting time thinking about the little things I needed to do to avoid like what was really important to me, if that makes sense. Like, I would have all these little things like, I need to respond to this, I need to put this away, I need to like throw the laundry in, and I'm like, why am I wasting time stressing out about when I'm going to do this when I can just do that stuff without thinking about it? And then schedule in like, okay, I need to sit down and like pick the cover art, and I'm actually going to schedule that because that's going to take more than 2 minutes, Anyways, but this can apply to like every situation. And if you guys ever have any questions about like, sometimes my brain moves very quickly, and I'm like, I really hope they understand what I'm trying to put into words. I mean, that's why I'm a songwriter, because sometimes my emotions, I'm like, I don't know how to explain this feeling, but I'm doing the best that I can. But if you ever have a situation and you're like, Lily, how can I apply this to my life? Please DM me or put it in the comments, put it in the response box on Spotify podcast, put it anywhere, and I will like literally help you. But no, I really like this rule because it helps, not even like a rule, but just like a mindset and rule. But it really does help me, and like, it helps with a lot of little things, which I think for me, it's like those little things can help me just stay on track. Like I was kind of talking about using the metaphor of running. It's like the little things can help me just keep running, You get it. And it also, doing those little things, it almost eliminates the clutter in your, like, physically and mentally. Like, I can't speak, you guys. I'm overstimulated. It eliminates the clutter physically around me, because if I do everything that takes me less than 2 minutes, I do a lot of the stuff that's like not useless, but just kind of like, that's clutter. Like, the stuff that takes more than 2 minutes is all stuff that is important to me, like answering emails that are about work, or picking out photo art, or messaging my fans back. Like, that takes more than 2 minutes for me. So that's something I really want to spend time on. I don't want to rush doing that, but like picking up this, or like texting this person back, or plugging in this, making sure my guitar battery is all good. Like, all that stuff is easy, and I just need to do it so I have more time to do what I love, and you have more time to do what you love. So this next coming week, the first part of the 2-minute rule, I want to challenge you to, like, even if you have to write a sticky note, be like, if it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now, and put it in your bathroom mirror, put it in your kitchen. You can make it your phone screensaver. Like, you can get creative with this, but I challenge you to do that. So like, if you get a text message about something and it takes less than 2 minutes to respond, just do it right then. When you come home, put your coat away, put your purse away, put your backpack away. After you eat, put away the dishes. I always say, like, if it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. And I don't know, I'm trying to implement this more. So I'm talking about it so we can all do it. We're doing it together, okay? Pinky promise. We're going to do it together. We're going to be motivated. We are going to go after our goals, and we're going to do the things that take less than 2 minutes. So we have time and mental energy to focus on our passions and focus on what we love, because it's like a middle season right now. I feel like, maybe not for everybody, but for myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm in the middle right now. And I'm like, like, I can see the goal, I can see the end, but it's like the excitement's worn down, the novelty's worn down. And now I'm just like, I need to continue to show up and push through. Like Brene Brown said in that quote, continue to show up, period. Okay. That was a lot. I feel like I'm out of breath. I feel like I've been screaming at you guys. There's a lot going on. You know what? No filter. We're just being raw and real. I had Erewhon tonight for dinner. And you guys, I haven't had the buffalo cauliflower in so long. Sometimes cauliflower hurts my stomach, but I was like, oh, I'm craving it. Like, I need to have it. So I feel like I'm out of breath from the cauliflower because it was so spicy. But it was so good. It was so good. Oh, it's vegan and gluten-free. I'm just obsessed with it. And like, here's the thing. Erewhon now is trendy. You guys, I've been eating at Erewhon since forever because I was always into like organic foods and stuff. And I worked, some of y'all don't know my lore. Oh my God, maybe we should have a whole episode with like Lily lore for my like 2 listeners that I love. But one day, I'm telling you, the reason why I keep doing this is because one day there's going to be millions of views on these videos, and I'm not going to take them down because I want people to see the growth, and I want people to understand that like it takes a long time to reach your goals. Don't ever be afraid or ashamed of the steps that got you to where you are. Like, I know a lot of people who they get somewhere and they're so embarrassed of their past selves, or they're so embarrassed of the videos that they made, not like in a bad way, but they're like, my makeup was weird, or I didn't look very good. And it's like, no, I think that's even more beautiful to see how far you've come, and it inspires people to see that, you know what, like, nobody's perfect. It's going to take work to get to where you want to be, you know? Okay, we just got on a total tangent. But okay, part 2 of this is like another kind of take on the 2-minute rule that I saw. So the first one is like anything that takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. But then the other thing is everything else that's not less than 2 minutes, break it down into something you can do for 2 minutes. So I'm going to explain this. So like you did everything that takes less than 2 minutes, right? But then say for me personally, one of my things would be like, okay, I need to pick my cover art. I can't do that in 2 minutes. And sometimes it's overwhelming. If I have a lot of photos, like I shoot everything myself. So it's also hard because I don't have like a photographer that's like, ooh, I like this one. I'm kind of like doing on my own. So what I'll do is I'll break it down. So for example, for my next single, Let Me Leave, which I've like talked about as the next single, but I'm going to have the pre-save link soon. And it's going to be so exciting. You guys, I'm actually really excited. I'm kind of nervous, but I don't know how I feel. We can do a whole podcast episode about that. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm excited though. Overall, good vibes, excitement. It's a really, like, I think it's something really special. Like, I know I say that about every song, but like, no, this one truly. And I wrote it by myself, literally on this piano. And it really helped me. It really helped me see my worth. And okay, we're going to talk about that in another episode. But what I did for that cover art, this was recently that I implemented this rule, but when I was picking out the cover art, I was so overwhelmed at first. And so you take a big task and you break it down into 2-minute sections. So I was like, okay, step 1, I was like, what's something 2 minutes towards this goal that I can do? Because the key is all you need to do is give yourself a 2-minute action to get the ball rolling, to get you showing up. And I promise you're going to end up doing more. I was feeling like, oh my God, like there's no way I can sit down. I wrote a 2-minute rule that was like, okay, I want to download all the photos and I want to crop them into squares. I was like, all I want to do is crop them. I don't want to pick it yet. I just want to crop every single photo because I took film photos on like 35 millimeters. So they're like longer, not a square, not 1 by 1. And I took photos on Polaroids. So like even though Polaroids are square, the actual Polaroid is not a square. So I was like, I'm going to crop everything into a square. And that's all I'm going to do. I don't have to pick it yet. My task was I'm going to crop all the photos into a square. So I did that. And that got me like, I was able to feel less overwhelmed. And I did that. And then I was like so focused that I ended up going through and actually picking the cover art and narrowing it down my favorites and then narrowing it down even more. And so like sometimes it's not necessarily like that's all you're going to do, but having a little tiny 2-minute task is super awesome to get the ball rolling. For example, like when I got back into reading again, I've always been a huge reader, but I feel like in high school, I kind of stopped reading for fun because I was just so like when I was forced to read something, it made it not enjoyable, if that makes sense. But getting back into reading, I wouldn't overwhelm myself by being like, you need to read 100 pages. I would be like, okay, I'm going to read 10 pages tonight. And I would end up reading for like an hour because my brain was like, oh yeah, I can do 10 pages. Or for example, if say you are a singer or a songwriter, it could be like, you could be overwhelmed. I know sometimes I get overwhelmed when I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to write about, or like, oh, I have too many ideas. What I'll do is I'll like narrow it down. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to come up with 10 song title ideas. That could be a cool song title. And I'll end up writing for like an hour or multiple hours, or I'll come up with all these amazing ideas. But what I'll do is I'll take my big task and I'll break it down. I'm trying to think of other examples, but like if you were, wanting to apply to a new job, that's overwhelming at first, filling out the whole resume, that's really overwhelming. So you could be like, a 2-minute task would be like, okay, I'm going to make a list of the places that I want to apply. You're probably going to end up doing more than that, but like break your big goals and big dreams and big tasks down into small little 2-minute sections. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Like I have implemented that. Like I've been running half marathons and it was super overwhelming at first. I can't believe I'm even saying that. It's very weird to say. I don't know if I could ever run a marathon. You know what? I'm not saying I could never run a marathon, and I could run a marathon, and I probably will one day, but I started training for my future tours. I've always been a dancer, and I've always been, athletic, and I've loved working out and loved walking, but I was like, you know what? I want to start cardio training and like running and getting my lungs, like building up my lung strength, so then that way I can dance on tour with you guys, because I want to be able to sing beautifully live, and I want to like put on a show and dance as a dancer. Like I freaking love dancing, and like I want to strut up and down the stage and like be able to like laugh and smile and cry with you guys. So I started running and slowly training, and I remember at first it was so hard. I literally was just like, just do a mile, or I literally would do, sometimes I would do just run as fast as you can for 2 minutes, similar to the 2-minute, breaking down a big goal of like being able to run and do a concert for 2 hours, to like, okay, just run for 2 minutes. And that was, I probably started doing that in maybe like March of 2022. And over time, I gradually like I would just keep doing that. And sometimes when I don't want to get on the treadmill, when I don't want to run, when I don't want to work out, I'm like, just do it for 2 minutes. And you end up keeping going. But I've been running every month. I do a half marathon to like push myself, just by myself. I just run it. But it's hard at first. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I'm like, you know what? No, like I'm going to break it down. I'm going to run for 2 minutes. I'm going to run as fast as I can for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to keep going, because doing these little things is going to get me to my end goal. It's going to get me that lung strength so I can do my beautiful concerts and I can sing with you guys and we can dance like nobody's watching, and you know, it'll be worth it. So like sometimes goals, just motivating yourself to do something that takes 2 minutes is all that it takes to really just push you there, you know? I think it's just important to show up. Like most importantly, like it sounds silly, but say for example, like even on the topic of working out, I think sometimes like having a small, like similar to the 2 minute thing, but it's like having something small that's like a cue. Like for me, when I don't want to get out of bed, what I do is I literally will be like, well, what's something that's 2 minutes for my day? Okay, well, I can like put on my favorite outfit. And then I put on my favorite outfit and I'm like ready to go. Or like, for example, when I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this. I know that for me, if I put on a little bit of makeup, not saying like full glam, but even right now, I don't have any makeup on. I have makeup on, but not really. I have like just plain mascara on. I have some like brow pencil and I have lipstick on and blush because I was like, you know what? I want to feel awake. I want to feel confident and embrace my natural look and my natural glow. And I just put on some of my makeup and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I was feeling a little like, oh my God, I've been like kind of overthinking lately and talking a lot. And I was like, I don't know if this episode is going to help anybody. And I was getting insecure and I was getting in my head. So I put on a little bit of makeup and I was like, you know what? I got this. It took 2 minutes to do that. And I was like, I'm ready. You get it? You feel me? This has been truly a chaotic episode. But you know what? Sometimes we need the chaotic episodes. Anyways, I hope this was a great start to your April. Eclipse season is here. Period. That's what eclipse season is here, and we are here, and you are here, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of me, and you know what? I'm excited for this month. I'm ready for the craziness. Honestly, just bring it on. At this point, bring it on. What do we have to lose? Nothing. But yeah, I'm really excited to update you with new music, and I'm just so happy that you're here. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend. If you haven't listened/watched the previous episodes, you should binge them all while you work on your goals, while you're driving, while you're working out, while you're cleaning your room. I just love you guys so much. And if you don't follow me on all the other places, you should. Instagram, Twitter/X. I'll always call it Twitter. I feel weird not calling it Twitter. Do you guys feel that way too? Facebook, Discord, TikTok, everything is linked down below or on the interwebs. But I love you guys so much. And let's say the affirmation before we go. Ready? Today is a wonderful day. I'm confident because I am a problem solver. I always have options because I choose to be optimistic. Today I will learn something new, laugh, and make a difference in someone else's life. I love you and have an amazing day.